minute. Charlie Parker and Train and all these people and Johnny Hodges and all these beautiful alto players back to Outer Hardwick and all these cats have to say about it too. But y'all don't know hardly them
Snakes and
names.
I honestly find myself questioning, like, why we appreciate art quite a lot, because I currently am attending art boarding school. It's been an adjustment, but it's my first year. I'm a junior in high school. But I take visual arts, and I just think it's interesting how the first week it was very much, I mean, we'd have like classes, we'd do our little things like that. And then it was like the day's over, we could sort of separate, you know, work from going back to our dorms and living our personal lives. But I think being in an environment like this where it's so rigorous, because it's a good school, it sort of leaves this weird limbo where it's like you're not really ever not working. You get to a point where you become so engrossed in the intentionality of your work that every day it's like you're essentially just in your own art piece. I mean, you can choose to interpret it like that. I guess I choose to interpret it like that. This is my interpretation of what it's been like here. But how it's, I guess, changed my views about interpreting art is that it's not binary at all. Like, there's no binary art. I don't think it necessarily works. I don't think it works as a concept, which is why I don't think we are capable of creating art that is, you know, binary. I think art, there's too many interpretations of it, but I guess I feel like to call art binary is to sort of restrict its purpose, which is, I mean, I think art functions in the same way that we do in relation to the universe. You know, when you hear that we are the universe experiencing itself, I think that art is us experiencing not only ourselves, but the universe. Because if you take that argument, then by that same logic, we, you know, a piece of the universe sort of would inhabit some part of our psyche, our subconscious, something like that. So I like to think that way about art. And I think that corresponds with sort of my more surreal style. Yeah, it takes hold in a lot of the things that I do because they tend to be very vivid, but I also have this sort of flair that I try to add to them that I think we have in life. And I think that that flair is more or less just the nuance that we experience. Because you try to hide it, or not hide it, but you put it in places where you expect it to be there so you don't look out for it. But when you do, it's, again, just more intentionality. I think intentionality in being able to interpret life, what you've lived through, something that's real, something that's tangible that people can sort of resonate with. I think that that's, yes, an effective or smart way of making art. And I mean, even down to things like technical studies and fundamentals and, you know, gestalt and all those things that you sort of learn coming into things like this, coming into any sort of interdisciplinary or intermediate, I don't know why I said that, intermediate or advanced level art programmer, you know, it's very important to find the value in all the things that you create. You know, I have studies of things that we've done in class that when I'm in the moment, it's this very intimate and sentimental sort of thing. It's like I'm existing in this space with this other thing of my creation, trying to make sure it functions in the way that I want it to, while also trying to convey freedom. But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking, And I mean, there's like writings about this sort of thing. I don't know the exact book. I'm thinking I actually might. It's on the tip of my tongue, but this Asian guy, he sort of discusses how like he got into essentially bodybuilding because of Greek and Roman art and how there was sort of this connection in, I guess, more pagan religions to having or staking value in physical appearance. But also looking at physical appearance from a very, very insightful place. It didn't come across as shallow in the way that I think most people would interpret it. It was more or less a philosophical appreciation for visuals, for the things that we have to see. And I think that's where you have a new conversation where if you are more informed in the art world, are things more visually pleasing to you? Are more things visually pleasing to you because you're more informed, because you like those nuances? They're things that you appreciate. I mean, there's things I appreciate in my normal life. I appreciate people watching at my window simply because people are so different. I mean, they have different walks. Sometimes they'll look up, sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll stop. They stop at different places in relation to the trees in front of the street. All of these things are intentional. Not intentional that they've already been planned, but they're intentional in that I'm seeing them. They're happening in front of me. That means something because I mean, I could see them any other day, but I saw that person that day wearing those clothes, standing that close to that tree. You know, I guess what I'm trying to say is art is intentional. I don't think art is just this loose, fluid thing that people try to say it is. I think art makes you take another look at yourself in a way that most people don't like to. So that's why they have a better time sort of disguising it as this like very so liberal that there is no meaning sort of thing. But that's not true. I think that's disrespectful. My point though, I mean I've said it before, but like art is intentional. Art, great art, good art. Because again, I don't think there's a necessary, I guess, like objection between good and bad art, but there is implications of demarcations of things that have more substance. I don't think it's about value. I think it's about substance. But what is substance? This all just sounds like pretentious word salad. What is substance? I guess for me, substance is just real life experiences. I think it's something that you can't replicate. I don't think you can fake substance. I think people can pick apart when substance is fake in the same way that a baby knows when a mother is not like their mother. You know, like I think that's one of those things humans just pick up on in one another. And maybe because in a way it corresponds to having confidence in your pieces and, you know, feeling good about them. Because in certain settings, you're going to feel better if you have or are presenting a more planned out piece than you are if it's just something that you did with no thought behind it. Now, whether or not that person is able to verbalize if they're doing it for the sole sake of doing it or doing it just because, I don't know. If you do it for the sole sake of doing it though, then I guess that means something. I need to go eat. But I don't know. Read Building Art by Paul Goldberger.